Hello everyone, E here. Welcome to yet another LEGO Hogwarts update. Last time around, spent hours placing plates and tiles on the Great Hall texture. And this time around, the building continues because this project just never ends. Let's get to it. I would like to start by trying to fix this Easter egg that represents the man with the iron mask. As you remember, this Easter egg used to be placed underneath here where the kitchens are. Previously they were split into two and the columns were on both sides of this, and this was just to fill the space. But now we don't need that anymore, and I actually have a design space for it right about here-ish. So this doesn't have to be so narrow and so awkward looking, so I will try to redesign it a little bit, see if I can add some additional detail into the new dimensions, and yeah, see how far I get. And here we go. This is what I have come up with. As you are able to see, I have transferred all the little details from the narrow corridor that was initially this MOC, this little Easter egg, and it actually added a lot more detail on that, but all the details previously present are also here. The dimensions are 15 studs wide and 26 studs long. Now let's start with this door. This door was present before and I really didn't want to remove it because, well, I really like it for this idea, but it is too tall. Here we have 5 bricks and 1 tile and 2 more plates, so all in all 6 bricks. And if I would put this above the ground over here, it would come up to somewhere around here, which would mean that this would not fit underneath. So I tried it, I decided to cheat it a little bit, so I didn't place any floor here, so it could go lower a little bit, and that way it actually fits. So it's a little cool cheat idea that I decided that is a good compromise. And now, since we have this door here, I decided to place these bars in the middle of the room because the overall cell can't be too big, which would also give me the opportunity to have this room here of where the guards, or in this particular case the guard, is. And I also added a fireplace, some random details like broom, mop, some armor, this disc, some other stuff here in the chest. We have some torture devices, of course. And inside here I made the stone bed or stone bench a little bit bigger, covered the tables and added the chairs that are from the 3 broomsticks MOC over here, and also decided to make this little window using these teeth pieces over here as the bars. What I spend most time on, I would say, is these bars here. Now, I didn't want to cover this whole thing with something, so everything can be visible. At the same time, I wanted to follow a decent pattern. And yeah, these are a bit like when you press them too much, they need to be really aligned in order for the immersion effect to be the best. So if I knock some of them down, it really breaks the immersion, but I would say it's a good way to make them. Probably there is a good way to do it as well with normal bars and just make another line here of other bars, but I had plenty of these pieces. I really want to implement them and use them. So yeah, I feel like this is a good remodel of what already existed, and we'll place it right over here. So I would say that yeah, this Easter egg of the Man of the Iron Mask is a lot better. Now, of course, if you're a fan of that book or film, perhaps you've only watched the film from the 90s or another version of it, or you're just a fan of the book, you could suggest something else that could be added here. Actually, was influenced not only by that film to make this MOC, but also another decent movie that I like from the early 2000s, The Count of Monte Cristo, which also has a scene in a jail cell of sorts. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So with that done, let's focus on the next thing. So the next thing I wanted to focus on, or will try to focus on, is the backside here of the Great Hall. Now, once again, to remove that, you need to remove the two little platforms here with the pathing. Then you need to remove the rock frame, and only then can you remove this. And whenever I work on this, I place it onto a 32 by 32 base plate, and I place this little support here because all the weight wants to go forward, of course. So this way I can really work on it comfortably without worrying too much of it falling apart or just crumbling to the ground. Believe me, this has happened before, and it takes about 30 minutes to assemble this again if it is just shudders to the ground. I think it has happened once or twice. So yeah, let's try to work over here in the interior. Now, what do I want to do? Maybe I want to increase the thickness of this wall to 2 studs. Maybe, but there isn't much space. Maybe I want to cover this with such plates to hide wherever we have nougat bricks here of the outer side of the wall, so it's not really visible in here. And over here you need to cover these with some kind of texture. Also here, this needs to be covered somehow. I have some photos for reference. We'll see what I can come up with. Maybe this needs to be modified a little bit to be a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit, I don't know, thinner. Now over here we have texture, which is right behind this. It will be difficult to hide it. So actually, all the things to consider, some of which I have considered, but really need to test it out. And only after the interior is really set, I can apply this kind of texture back here, which will probably be the easiest thing out of, well, this whole escapade. So yeah, let's get to work and see what I can come up with to fix or improve this backside of the Great Hall. It always really amazes me how many of these texture pieces it takes to cover even such a, well, relatively small wall. Anyway, as you can see over here, everything is completed on this side and all the details are placed. I had tried several things to solve. One of them was over here. You might notice that on the side we have these wedges underneath as well, and I really wanted to implement this on the back side as well over here. And I tried different variants, cheating over here, so this part here can be a 1x2 exactly down the middle, but then it turns out that this here is not as big as a slope that is one side, and these wedges came a little bit more forwards compared to this side, and it didn't really look well, so I decided not to place wedges there. But at the same time, I decided to leave over here these, so I think that's fine. Now, one of the problems was that I wanted to cover this over here. There is no way to put any texture here, so that's why I made this little modification, and like so we can have this texture applied. It's not perfect because that makes this part here very thick, and that's why I decided to use this slope here on all 4 sides, basically just to kind of gradually change the thickness of the backside of the wall, and I felt that this is kind of fine. Also, I believe I increased the width over here by 1 stud, on each side, so it really overlaps better with the side texture. So all in all, when you look at this from behind, you will see it later once it's placed into its slot over here. It really blends in and it doesn't really stick out too much. One thing that I was thinking maybe is changing these because they're slightly forwards. I thought that the texture was going to come a little bit forwards, and it could, but then it would come even more forwards compared to over here, and I don't really want that. And I don't want to increase the thickness over here, place another layer of plate. So yeah, for now it will be like this. At some point I might try to replace these with 1x4, or maybe just try to press them one stud backwards. It's not very important right now. Over here I feel it's completely fine. Now on the inside is what I spent most of my time prior to this, and I decided to, well, end of the day, not increase the thickness of the wall. Over here it is still one stud. There is simply not enough space to increase the thickness by one more stud. Basically, even the way it is now, there isn't even a space for even one more plate to place here, because this hits the window indoors here, the frame. And the maximum I could place was two plates basically. So my camera really doesn't like to focus properly, but yeah. So because of that, I decided to place a layer of plate and then cover it with tiles, trying my best really to stay true to the original design of the Great Hall, what we can see in most pictures, in most of the films, and also letting as little liberty as possible, but wherever needed. So I decided to keep the same frame as we have, well, basically over here, with the decorations on the lower angle of the windows and up here as well. And just so it's not boring tiles, I placed some kind of pattern here with 1x1s, and then the other kind of windows with 2x4s. Same thing over here, and added these little borders here just to cover the windows. Not really sure I really like that a little bit. You might notice that this was lower. I kind of forced it forward and upward a little bit so it blends a little bit better. Also a little bit of a modification on the hourglasses here and behind. Before they were really integrated into this back wall, but now they're just placed on this plate here that is attached to the wall. The design of the mechanism here is the same. Over here the decoration is a little bit modified, as well as this little podium where I decided still to place the house cup and the sorting hat, which somebody commented recently that the sorting hat shouldn't really be here, but yeah, I agree with that, and there will be a sorting hat in the Windows office as well, but what else should I place here? What can you suggest? And also, if we are just prior or after the ceremony where new students are assigned to a house, why shouldn't the hat be there? But yeah, I get the point. Now, the other thing, I was really thinking about what to do from here up to here. Now, you might think, why does this stop here? Basically, this part here is overlapping against the wall of the backside. And I think like from here only is really visible, but it's not really visible when you look at it from the front angle here, because of the other decorations on the side and the candles, and so it's really fine. I thought about making it really like a pattern here, but it was really screwing up the really this shape, and the reason wasn't looking really well. This also was added recently because just didn't like the showing here, but now we have this overlapping arch, so I feel that's a lot better. Now the thing that I wasn't sure is this pattern here, still not really sure about it. I decided to use the same colors as in here, just to keep the same theme. Just changing it up a little bit by adding 2x2s, but I might try to do some other particular pattern here. I see that some of the pictures in the films we have different forms, like a sun shape here maybe on this side, and here's something else that I can't really determine what exactly it is. But I might just play around a little bit with tiles and see if I can do something to replicate these objects or whatever they are, and maybe I will actually add them here instead of this. But I really wanted to have like a finished look once this is placed, so I decided just to keep this pattern here, and at some point I could just replace it. And now here is a view from the front with all the interior trays removed, including the Mills plate with the students, but the backside is placed, and you can see the difference is well, tremendous. It looks really well in my opinion in comparison to what it was. All we're missing is the well, actually not 4 6 in total statues, 3 badgers and 3 lions, which I am hoping will be implemented soon. But yeah, inside here I would say that there is all the interior looks really nice. Over here with the teacher's table as well, and you can see all the detail that I spent doing with the wall there. Really looks nice. While we're here, we're gonna place this that I just did with the Man of the Iron Mask hidden Easter egg. Now should I place it like so, or maybe like so? It doesn't really matter because it will be hidden. So we just place it over here in this pocket and push it all the way back here, which I can't really do with one hand. But on the other side, these 3 windows will be very helpful. That's why I'm still not removing them, because by pushing on this side, I'll be able to remove that very easily. So let's place everything back together and see how it all looks. A quick peek at the dining hall with the minifigs back in, and how it all reflects with the interior on the back side of the wall. I'd say it looks pretty great, even though it's not yet completely finished. And here is the back side of the Great Hall, placed with all its according adjacent modules, and also the pillars here that are merging with the module itself with its respective texture. So it's how it should be. I feel like this is a great achievement to finally finish this. It was really a great challenge to figure out how to place this type of windows over here to keep the overall shape of the building, to make sure it's not too thick, to it really seem like it belongs with the rest of this wall dimension wise. And overall the result is quite pleasing. Part of me is very relieved to have this behind me, so I can focus on other parts of the castle, because this backside was something that I've been tweaking for a long time, and to finally actually have the parts to place the texture and to figure out how to do the interior as well, so it looks good from the outside and the inside at the same time, while it's being modular and everything else fits together, so it doesn't fall apart, so it's not flaky, it's relatively stable to pick up without shattering to the ground. And all these circumstances and details and requirements for everything to work finally be done. It's really a load off my chest. Now of course there's plenty more to do. These towers, I've been trying to modify them. I will speak about them next time. like these ones that I really can't figure out what to do with them. It will probably end up being like this. The chimney needs to be, well, the texture needs to be applied, but I want to add a little bit of these here and there and just need to sit down and do it, because it's obviously a round kind of thing. You can't really apply texture here. You need to think about the other sides as well, and other various things which I'll be doing next time around. But yeah, until then, this is what it looks like, and in the background is the courtyard that yeah, I will get to maybe next time, maybe soon, who knows, whenever the time comes. But yeah, this is actually pretty heavy. Even when I'm sliding this table around, I can't do it with everything placed together and all the modules connected. I don't know how heavy it is, but it's probably like 10 kilograms or something. It's ridiculous the amount of pieces this whole section, even without everything else, contains. I try to figure out how many pieces roughly this is made out of, but I don't know. I really don't know. And with that out of the way, this concludes this week's LEGO update. If you like my content and would like to support the channel, please consider throwing down a like, posting a comment, or hammering down that subscribe button. It really does help tremendously, believe it or not. Until next time, stay healthy and happy building. Bye for now.